Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors trading on margin. Utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
Yes, we do.
We are in a downtrend. It looks like we screwed that up. We're more red than green. We're in a downtrend, down arrow. Right now, the arrow is. Let me see if I can pull some of the stuff down. The arrow was generated right there. The target is right here, which is right at the green line. And that's only going to be about 4 pips away. So that's a no trade. Let's go to the next one, Swiss yen. Swiss yen. And we have an up arrow. Here is the entry for the arrow. Are we in an uptrend? We are in a downtrend that looks like it's starting to turn around, actually. You have a nice little strong move down. Here's the left leg. Here's the middle of the W. Here's the right leg. We have a little bit of a trend going in this direction. So it didn't break this lower low. I would say that in this particular case, if it can, this may be a little bit of a bank induction move that we may get off of this one. We are in a downtrend. Now the problem with this one, the candle that generated the arrow did not come up and touch the zone. If it would have been this one over here to the left a little bit, then we could have called this a bank induction and trying to catch it on the pullback. But right now, kind of in no man's land with this one. We need to get through this zone to go up higher, or we need to get a nice little bounce to come back and retest this trend line down here. And we had a little bit of a divergence here. I'm not sure if it's divergent with the RSI would be telling us, but right now that we are starting to get the cross of the moving averages. We do have a zone right here that is where this big strong move originated. And we could just be going sideways right now. It's hard to say. We'll just have to play it out. You can see over here, this was yesterday. We kind of drew this out yesterday. For those of you who were able to catch the room, I said the Zoom room didn't work, but some of you were fortunate enough to be able to catch the Telegram message that led you over to our other room that we had. And we did have a session yesterday in spite of all the difficulties. But here we had a nice little break of this little trend line from here. And actually we could maybe even draw this one over a little bit further over here. So here's an anchor. Here was the hit. Here was the breakout, came back up, dropped down back, retested the trend line, and away it went. And this was right around, that's probably about 9:30 yesterday morning, I guess. So that was the start of that little move. And let's see, EuroCAD was the next one that we have some information on here. EuroCAD is up here. And this was EuroCAD with a sell. Let's see what kind of trend we're in. Right now it's looking like we're in a downtrend. Pretty much slight downtrend, not a real, well, there's 4 red, 2 green. So we are in a downtrend. We could be looking at a area where it may be starting to reverse. We did have a nice bounce arrow go, but we didn't have, if we took that trade, we may have fallen a little bit short. This is basically a pullback off of that. I kind of like this one as a pullback off this bounce right here. But we may want to keep an eye on this one to see if we can maybe get a bank induction. But right now, it's kind of going in the wrong direction. It's actually going in the right direction. It's in a downtrend. Here's a downtrend. Here's our 200 moving average. Here's our arrow moving average. This thing's still pointing down. This one is kind of, it started pointing up. It's kind of going flat. It is pointing, has a little bit of a down move to it. But right now we're looking at, I'd be looking at a trend break. Looking at from here to the top of this other zone. Actually, we're going to have to use this one now.
Yeah, you got a wedge there, Al.
So here's an
more
anchor.
like a channel.
This was kind of a near hit. It wasn't close enough to where we call it a near hit. Here is the hit. So anchor, here's a hit. But this is starting to develop a trend line. We could maybe take this thing over a little bit further over this one. Use that. I kind of like that one a little bit better. Then we can kind of pick up this other. So here's the anchor. Here's a little bit of the breach, near hit, but this is all forming lower highs. And now we're starting to work on this consolidation. This could be the beginning of a W, where we could have another little trend on the bottom. Somewhere like about this, and we'll see where this thing goes. I'll put it to the corner of the zone right here. From here, we'll see if this thing comes down and retags it. If it retags the zone, this may give us a bank induction to go and take it to the upside. I'm kind of liking it more to the upside than due to the downside. This looks like it's being more near the end of a major run. Canadian dollar has been real strong, which the Canadian dollar is the second currency of this pair. That's why it's causing this thing to drive down. But I think that's about due to already change its direction here a little bit. We'll keep an eye on that one. And let's go to some news, see if there's any news out here today that we need to be concerned about. Oops, let's see here. I just discovered something about this. I am sharing that.
We got, did we check out the news yet there, Al?
No, I'm doing that right now, but this thing's happened to me once before. Okay, I'm going to change screens here.
What happened?
Well, no, I usually can just slide. Oh, let me try something else here. Let me try, see if this does anything. You see my new screen now?
Yeah, I like that. Look at you.
Okay, well, I had to take my other chart off for some reason. I don't understand that. I think I have a solution for it, though. Anyway, here's the news. Here's Friday, March 26th. We have red folder, Euro all day today, Euro Summit. Be aware of the European dollar, or the Euro. And that's about all I'm seeing on this one. And then if we go to the FX book, but sometimes they seem to have a little bit more information than Forex Factory does. And we're looking here at March 26th, in another 50 minutes, some high level dollar news. So keep in mind that by around 8:30 and 10 o'clock today. And we're gonna look at the splash screen. And right now we're looking at the British pound is strong on pretty much all four pairs. The dollar is starting to challenge it a little bit. So we have dollar strength, we have British pound strength, Swiss weakness, Japanese yen weakness on pretty much pretty much all four of the time frames. 1 hour, 30 minute, 15 minute, here's the 5 minute. And you can see the euro is still relatively weak. It's coming about in, like I said, the middle three on primarily on the 30, the 5, and the 15, these three right here. I usually try to stay away from anything, unless it's trading, these middle three, if this trading with the British pound or the US dollar over here, I'd be okay with it. I like seeing at least a 3-point spread between any of these currencies to trade it, and then I trade it in the direction of the strength or the weakness of whatever currency we're looking at the time. And that's, so basically we're looking at pound strength, dollar strength, Swiss and yen weakness. And then we'll come back over here to the chart. Actually, let me see something here. Yeah, now I can do it. Okay, there we go. That had something to do with it. And so we don't have any more trade alerts. Any questions while we're waiting here? let's see. I think there was one I maybe entered in this morning. I never took a Neo trade yesterday. I think something's wrong with the way I have my Neo set up because it hasn't taken any trades in 2 days.
You're in Neo, Al?
I
Neo?
started. I'm doing a demo on it to just try and see how it works and what it's doing. So I got it on a demo platform right now. I turned it on about 2 days ago, and I thought it took trades every day, but I may be wrong about that because it hasn't taken anything. So I'm gonna have to check with somebody see what my settings are wrong, or if it just didn't take any trades the last couple of days. I believe I did enter this British Aussie pair. I think I did enter this today earlier. I saw we had an alert on this one earlier, and when I sat down, I saw this little pullback right in here. So I like the idea. We're in an uptrend. We did get the arrow back. Now the bounce. This arrow was a little bit after this first pullback. Usually, I like to see the arrow right off the get-go, right off of the launch off the green zone. We did get up here. We do have 20 pips to wear it, but I saw it was on a nice little pullback. So I'm looking at this is a little wedge pattern here. And so I did get into this trade. I don't know, see if it's going to work out or not. Here's a nice little wedge right here. This goes a little bit with these wedge patterns that we talk about often. And actually could be take it all the way over to this side. This is where the origin of the strong move down is. Came back up, retested. This point right there is a little bit of a retest. Pulled back. And now we have strong move up. We had the arrow. We have 20 pips to the red zone, so that's a good thing. And then we have another little wedge on the bottom of the wedge. So I took this with the idea that I can try and see if it's going to, if it breaks out of the bottom of the wedge, I'll be out of this trade. If I get a break here, it comes back up and retests it and then starts going back down, then I will be moving my stop up to all the way up to this area. I'll probably have my stop as long as this area here holds. I'm okay with this. Here's really where I don't want to see it close below. If it breaks this, I'm okay with it breaking the wedge at this trend line a little bit. But I want to see a break and use it as a trap to get launched up higher. But if it breaks, comes back up and retests about where I got in and it can't get breakthrough where I got into this trade, then I'll pull the trade and take a few pip loss on it. But right now my stop can be at 108.73. I still have it down here at 52. But even like right there, that's at 52 is all the way down here. But I kind of like this. We are in an uptrend. There's just a bunch of stuff coming up here. But we are in an uptrend. We're above the moving averages. This one pulled back and it hooked. And now, as long as it stays above this arrow moving average, I'm still pretty well okay with this thing. We may have to give it some time. May take a little bit of heat on it, but for the most part, I think it's a reasonable thing to trade here. And you can even take it all the way up to this area. Here's the anchor. Came up, retested it again. Anchor, here's a hit, here's the break. Comes back in, retests the trend line. And we'll see if this thing can keep on launching on up. I like this little formation right here. Broke the trend line, came back, retested it. Still didn't break the bottom of this one. My stop can still stay underneath where I have it here, right by where this arrow is. And we'll just see what happens. I'm okay with this one. And that's the British Aussie, I believe. And about ready to get stopped out. This is one I took yesterday. This one, I was in this thing overnight, and it's not behaving very nicely. That's the Euro New Zealand. And so we don't win them all. Euro, New Zealand. And this thing, it's been kind of fighting the zone. I think we got in and over here. What's the price we got in on this one? 62. We got in right up in here, over in here someplace. Pulled back. We had this red zone, and it broke through the red zone. We actually formed another red zone. We had it's like we were in an uptrend. I was looking to see it break up to get up into the top there, but it's pulled back quite a bit overnight. So this one's not working out so hot. I took this one more and more of as a swing trade, and it looks like it's gonna take out my stop. But I just put my stop underneath the zone to see what it can, if the zone can hold it. But I'm not overly optimistic on this one here. Any questions? Let's see, what else do we have here? And check my other charts here and questions, comments. Oh, small group here this morning. Must be Friday.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't. They take the day off, and I can't say I blame them. I probably would too if I wasn't teaching this thing. Well, it's nice to start the weekend a little bit earlier sometimes. We spend enough time during the week trading and looking at charts, or oftentimes it's nice to just take a little bit of a break, get away from it a little bit. But we're glad that you're here. Gives me a reason to get up in the morning to do this session and to see what we can do to get people on track, answer any questions. We can talk about anything else that you may have. Some gearboxes is in some drawdown here for us. It hasn't been, it's been causing a lot of people some drawdown, but it's still hanging in there. I mean, and it's a Neo. I haven't had any trades on my Neo yet today, so.
Now, Neo, does it only trade the one?
It only trades the one pair.
Uh-huh.
And it only trades it during a couple hour session of near the end of the day.
And does it have to be the pound CAD, or is it one pair of your choosing?
It's the pound CAD. That's the one he's trading right now. I think that changes periodically from different pairs. But right now he's only trading the pound CAD. I don't know what direction it is. All I know is it does this little thing, and now you have to see it do any of it. But I understand it's been very, very consistently winning its trades. So, but it only takes one trade a day, as far as I know. And so I'm not sure why it didn't take my trades. I got to have it set up, but
Yeah, it only trades during a 2-hour window.
have you been using it, Matt?
I was part of the beta test group. I used it for a while.
Maybe you can tell me if I have this thing set up right, because I talked to Brian a little bit last night, and he said, well, maybe my time shift on the hours isn't right, but I got mine at a -1 from chart time from GMT plus 2, I think it was. So I'm assuming that since we're on, I know we had the time shift, which is, I guess Europe is changing this weekend. Is that correct?
That's right.
I think so, yeah.
So this thing could be changing once again here, possibly, but I don't know. I'm going to check the videos again and see if something, or check with somebody.
Because the manual time shift, that option was added, like, I think, there's an automatic time shift that's coming out. And I don't know if it's coming out this week or after, but there are a couple of people that had a problem with the manual time shift. Either wasn't 100% right, and it's because of the daylight savings.
Yeah, the daylight saving times will really mess people up, mess you up in a big way. So anyway, I'm not sure what's
trading like for a couple of hours a day. What kind of position size is it trading?
I do not know that either. I think it just figures it out what your risk levels
your
are.
Risk percentage. It's based on the risk percentage that you put in the system. So if you say that you want up to 25% drawdown or 50% or whatever, then it'll position size accordingly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So people that have been using this I haven't heard anybody that didn't like it. I heard Brian say he didn't like it earlier on, but that's because he didn't know what he was doing with it. So I think that's probably
Yeah, CB loves it.
Yeah,
CB,
CB loves
this
it.
is
And
this is all he's using for his manual trading system or his
for
AI
his
based
EA.
one.
Yeah, so
He loves it.
I'm gonna check with CB and make sure that my see if
That's
I
what
can,
I would do, man. That's
Yeah.
what I would do. I would
see
say
if I can get him to come in. He doesn't seem to show up on Fridays very much. So
no,
um,
no.
anyway,
He's
so that's
got a
all.
couple business.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll be looking at that as we go along, and yeah, maybe want to check that one out too. So anyway, right now this trade I took the British Aussie. That's still I'm about 5 pips on that one. That's not too bad. British
I have
Aussie.
something in the chat from Judson. Did anyone take a look at the US CAD? He had to step away for a moment. No, we haven't. Have
We have not looked at that. We can do that. Let's see, US CAD right here. We got it. I did draw a Fibonacci on this yesterday for some reason.
Yeah, it looks like a 61.8 retracement of that up move there. Is that it? 60, 62? No.
Well, actually, there's a 50. I'm trying to see where I started this thing.
Your Fibo's off a little bit, I think.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, let me just take this thing off and redraw it again.
Yeah.
Fibo. In fact, let's just take all this stuff off of here. This trend lines. And one more. There we go. And put my chart times in. There's my open. Let's see. We're right at 125.83.
That's between 61.8 and 76.4. So it's a pretty deep retracement, but it never broke that bottom.
And so let's see. Let's go with, we have, let's move down. Now we are in an uptrend, looks like, from on this particular time frame. Draw the Fibonacci. I'll go from this point down up to here. So looking for the pullback right now, it looks like we had between a 62 and a 79% retracement. Let's see what the candle formation looks like if we spread this out a little bit and see if we can find a candle formation that we like. This is almost like a double bottom. Here's that kind of like that railroad tracks that I think Nate talks about. Pulled back to the 62. This was a little bit stronger pullback than I would have preferred to have, but let's see the US CAD. Actually, I kind of like this to the upside. Actually, let's see.
Yeah, it is. It is at the bottom of that price channel.
Yeah, and here we look. This is a stronger down. Here's a higher high, or excuse me. Here's a low. Here's a higher low, higher low. We'll draw a trend line off of these 3 points from here to here. It didn't quite catch this one, but it did hit this one, and we've got that. So here's our trend line, and actually we can probably take this thing back a little bit. One more.
I took it back further there, Al. Yeah,
right to there.
That's
so
what I
did.
Anchor.
Here's a hit. Here's a hit. There's our third hit. Now we're in the uptrend, and had a nice Fibonacci pulled back to 62 to 79, and now it's starting to launch back. We have the down arrow. We have the up arrow coming in here. Actually, I kind of like this one for a long. Looks like this thing, and it's for the U.S. dollar strength. We were saying that the dollar was strong, but right now the CAD's still maintaining control over the dollar. So with that in mind, we do have a little channel coming up. So right now I'm looking at, we have some more. This thing may come back and retest this a little bit more here. I like.
Yeah, that bottom. That's what I was looking for. I was looking for a third hit on that potential trend line, or that it goes deeper and challenges your more valid trend line at the bottom there. You know.
This one,
no, down a bit more.
I don't. Yeah, I kind of like that. It's a little a little more shallow than I would like, but. I like where I kind of like keeping underneath this. Maybe doing it this way.
I'll bring it down to there.
Bring it down to here, possibly.
Yeah, it's 2 hits, so.
But see, this way we have the this could be the head fake. This could be the trap right in here where it came back down. We're still, we crossed over the moving averages. We're still making higher highs, came back down, making higher lows, higher highs, and higher lows. And so if it breaks through the top of where the arrow was, which would be right up in this area, you can maybe do a buy stop around this area, and then you'd have all this area right here to the 38%. And actually here, yeah, get through that 38% line here. Let's see, you might have enough. If it can break through this where the arrow was, that's only 8 pips. Up here, you've got 24 pips to the, and then you got even higher up to the 0 line on this retracement. I wish the dollar was a little stronger on the heat map to the CAD. CAD's starting to lose some ground here, though. I'm gonna take a shot at this one.
There's what do you have on the 5 minute there, Al? At the lower time frame? Let me see.
5 minute on this one. Yeah, you're still well within. You have a red zone right up here, right after. This is the 20 pip. Here's 20 pips.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is good. I'll take this one. US CAD. US.
There's a question again about the currency strength indicator, Al.
Yes. What's the question?
How did you bring it up on TradingView?
Oh, how do you bring it up on TradingView? You don't bring it up.
No.
Oh, the only way you bring it up on TradingView is you have to have a special authorization to do it. And I talked to Anthony. Well, I tried reaching out to Anthony yesterday. He said he'd get back with me, and he hasn't gotten back with me yet. He's a very busy guy. But I'm just trying to see how we can protect the code and get it available to you guys, and that's what I'm working on now. As soon as I can get with him, he's gonna have to tell us how we can do it. He's more than happy to let us do it, but we need to find out how to make that happen. And as soon as I can get his okay with it, then we will make it available. It's probably be a little bit of a fee to it because he's going to want to be compensated for his the work he did with it, but it will be a nominal fee. It'll be something that won't break anybody's bank, and we're looking at probably somewhere maybe around $10 a month or $75 a year or something like that for it. It's a great little tool. I use it all the time. It keeps me out of a lot. It gets me into trades that are iffy, and it gets me out of trades that are also iffy.
We also have a question. What do you think about gold?
I like gold. I don't know if I don't want to trade gold, but I like gold. I think it's a pretty metal.
Jackie's trade on the pound Swiss ended up in our favor there, my friend. Remember that swing trade?
Did it finally? I was in that one for a while. I think I may have
Took its
closed it
dear
out.
sweet time.
It did.
Took its dear sweet time.
I think last night, if it's the one I'm thinking of, I closed it out with a small profit last night because I got tired of waiting on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just set it and forget it. But let me see here. What was how many pips did I make on that sucker here?
Pounds,
I think I made 50 pips.
Did it close out last night?
Yeah, I think so. Let me double check my MT4 here. I'm running it on a small account with some manual trades.
I don't see where
it closed out on the 25th. Yeah, yesterday night, 11:30.
Huh. Let's see if I thought I
50 pips.
You say pound Swiss, right? Pound Swiss.
Yeah, pound Swiss.
Yeah, that's one. Okay, yeah, that's the one I closed that one out just before I went to bed last night. So you say you got 50 pips on that one last night?
That's what she says.
Yeah, let's see. Pound. Let me take a look at that one. Pound Swiss.
Oh, Al, we're getting that bounce on that that new trend line on the US CAD. It's a higher low, but it's not the trend line all the way at the bottom, but might be something there. Let's see if it breaks. You can probably see the trend line. I don't think you drew it, but you'll see
about
it.
the bottom trend line. The bottom trend line.
Yeah, it's at a lower time frame.
Am I on the 5 minute here? I'm on the 5 minute. That's why. I'm on the 5 minutes. So here's the.
Oh, I put it on the 1, so my bad.
Here's the trend line. Here's that move down, and looking at here's the. So I'm still looking at this thing. Look at this one to maybe work okay here. We'll see how it goes.
Ooh.
Let me go back to the 15. So I'm on the 15
Just went
minutes.
down 5. Hold on. Oh, I'm on USD CAD, right? Yeah, we're in that same one. Okay.
I did have a quick look at the gold. I don't think I'd be doing anything with the gold at this moment, Anonymous. It's
Let's see what gold's looking like here.
yeah, it's close to a zone. It's got the moving averages above it. It's just, I wouldn't get into any gold at the moment.
Yeah, gold's been no. It's like it was all the way up to $2,100 last July, June, July. It was up to $2,100 an ounce. Now it's pulled back to 17. And I'm guessing with all the quantitative easing, it's probably going to be a while before it gets back up to the 2,000 mark again. And last time it went up that high, it pulled back all the way back to 1,100. So this thing could, I mean, but it doesn't go in a direct direction. So right now, as you can see, it's trading inside. In fact, this zone looks like it's been around there for quite a while. Here, let's see how far back does it go. Well, it goes back. So it's been trading inside this range right here for the last couple of days. We had a nice big spike up here. This was like an engulf. If you look at this from a daily candle standpoint, say just one candle, this was a bearish engulfing candle, engulfed all this zone, ran it right up, ran it back down, but closed down lower. So this thing probably has a little bit more room to the downside. This was, like I said, this was a bearish engulfing candle for the last couple of days, if you look at it from a daily standpoint. And so that could just be this could just be the head fake, come back down, get everybody sucked in, take everybody stops, bring it back down, get everybody back in again. And it may start going on up again. But from a standpoint, I mean, right, there's like no zones over here on these last 3 or 4 days of this week. It's like no zones at all. And let's see how far back we can go. I don't know if we can go back too far. But it's been trading inside a rather large range for the week within, well, let's just take it from this zone to here. We're looking at a 1746 to 7. I mean, you're looking at basically a $25 zone range that's been trading in for the last couple of days. Which, if you're only looking for $5 moves, that's you can do okay. But it's got too much volatility for me to be able to want to trade it, to be honest with you. I'll own it, I'll hold it, I'll buy it, but I don't generally trade gold. You can buy gold stocks, you can do all kinds of things with gold, but it doesn't have, to me, it doesn't have any real clear direction other than just going sideways inside different ranges. You can see it's tested this range for, I mean, this was yesterday. This was trading basically inside this range. It's basically, see, 1731 to, it's basically been trading inside a $10 range. And what you can do is you can just buy down here, sell up here, buy down here. and until it breaks out of that range, and see if you can get a few times. I mean, you have a couple cycles where there's 1, 2, 3, 4. You could have done that 4 times in the last 24 hours. But you'd have to be on top of it pretty well to be able to do that.
Yeah, for me, I'd like to see a clear indication that it's going to go one way or the other.
Yeah.
Like those strong green candles going up. You're that this box just covered up, but you can see it when the candles start forming like huge, and you can see it keeps opening. Then I treat it, but I scalp it. I do it on the 1 minute. So, but yeah, like Al says, you got to stay on top of gold because you can lose your shirt, and you can go ping pong between the two zones if you can stand the drawdown.
Yep. And these zones right now, I mean, you'd have to leave some pretty tight stops. And you can see each time, like this one, it penetrated up here, and then it went a little bit deeper. It penetrated here. Then it went deeper. So it's starting to make a little bit higher, larger swings. So you'd have to have your stop. I mean, right now you would need a stop, at least you'd need a $5 stop. I would probably give at least a $10 stop. But right now, as long as it maintains inside these zones, you could try doing that if you want. I'm not an advocate of that, but
Yeah, trade at your own peril.
yeah, trade it at your own peril. That's right. I mean, I kind of feel the same way about the indexes. I don't know which way they're going to go.
Funny, the indexes, I like them. I find them to be somewhat calm.
They are very profitable too.
Oh,
If you can trade them if you can be in the right direction, yeah, I mean, anything with a lot of volatility is very profitable, but you have to make sure you're in the right direction, and you also have to give it the flexibility and the wiggle room so that you don't get stopped out, because you can get stopped out very easily if you have really tight stops on some of these indexes and gold and some of the more volatile pairs. I mean, a 10 pip stop is like
It's nothing.
They sneeze at
Yeah.
that.
I mean, you have to keep your eyes on them. I had a German 30 alert, and I took a buy on it maybe, I don't know, 3 minutes ago, and I just closed it down for profit. But you have to watch it.
Yeah, I remember.
I'm not much of a set and forget trader. I usually like to just watch it. I like to be in it and watch it until I get out of it, but doesn't always work. Go ahead, Matt. I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt you.
Oh no, you're fine. I was just saying that Jackie showed me a lot about the indices. She taught me a lot about like the US 30, man. Just stay away. Don't touch US 30. Like you need
good. The
you
German,
need a couple $1,000 in your trading account to touch US 30.
yeah. But the German 30, it actually moves very nicely. It's a little bit calmer
Interesting.
out of all the indices that I use.
Okay.
And I run it on variable as well.
Okay.
And it just chugs away. It's like the good kid in the family. That's the kid you want. Just calm.
You mean the firstborn?
Not necessarily, but in my case, yes, it was the firstborn. That was a calm child. But yeah, it's worth looking at if you guys like trading indices and whatnot. Just watch it move.
You're saying you like the DAX, which one was it that you like?
And demo it, right? There's no problem demoing stuff, guys.
Yeah, I'm trying to see which one you're talking about here. I think it was
For me, it's the
yeah,
DAX. Yeah.
the DAX. That was
The GE30.
Indexes, GE.
There, the German 30. There it is.
30.
Mm-hmm.
So do you trade it during London when it moves really good, or do you like the consolidation more?
I traded it right. I took a trade right now on an arrow alert.
Okay.
Yeah. And I shut it down. It moved $10 my way. And within 5 minutes, I was in profit. I mean, not to say it's always going to happen that way, but you have to keep your eyes on it. And when it starts to stall out, get out. That's all.
Yeah, I've heard you mention the US 30 quite a bit here lately, or the German 30.
Yeah, a lot of people have been mentioning
I like. It tends to be a little bit more predictable, a little calmer
than the US 30.
Yeah.
Interesting. USD CAD just melted, man. It's gonna come back down and challenge that that bottom trend line, I think.
Now, when you say it just melted, we're talking only 7 pips.
Oh, is it? I'm
Yeah.
on the 1 minute chart. It looks bigger than that. I
Yeah,
apologize.
that always does on the 1 minute.
I apologize. I didn't even mean to scare you.
You're on the 1 hour with the German 30, Al.
Yeah, I
I
think
do it on the 5 minute,
5 minute. Okay. Yep. That was
just
the
like the
default
rest
that
of the
ended
indices.
up on. Here
Yeah.
we go. Well, we may have to start watching this one a little bit here.
I like this one. And, you know, as Brian likes to say, it works until it doesn't.
Yeah.
So right now it's working for me.
And we know how that goes with the NASDAQ, don't we?
Yes, we certainly do.
That's why with these indexes, I don't like trading them for a long term. I just like getting in, getting out, because if you get in the wrong direction with them, they can eat your lunch for a very long, or at least you spend an enormous amount of what do I call emotional inventory, till you get out of those trades.
Yeah, and there's a question in the chat. What sessions do I trade the German 30? Like each trade is on its own merit. As you can see on this one here, there is clearly an upward W. And then, of course, the arrow came up. There's plenty of room to the upside, and it's in an uptrend. So all of those tell me, odds enhancers, if you're an OTA student, that, you know what, this is going to be a good trade. And it was. I got in and it was pretty quick. So it, like, each one is on its own merit. If it's not moving, you don't want to get in it. That's the whole thing. They need to be moving for you. So you don't have to babysit them forever. The volatility is what helps. So yeah, it's just kind of, you know, you got to look at your own.
It moves good. It moves good, and it's not sporadic.
No, I like it. I really like this one.
I'm just taking a peek back. I don't.
Like I
Okay.
said, right now it's working. It's nice and calm. But
Yeah.
you know, as with the other ones too, they can just turn whenever they want to. But this one, I find, because it's not based on the US dollar, it tends to move a little bit better, a little bit calmer, I think.
Well, I think it'd be based on the euro, I would think.
Well,
Yeah.
Would that make
probably.
sense? And euro's
Probably
Yeah.
grounded in the euro mostly, but
I would think, yeah. And because of all the issues that have been going on with the US currency and you know, politics and whatnot, the other indices tend to be whipping around back and forth. They're like water spiders, I call them. They just go all over. You don't know where they're going to go. But this one's a little bit calmer.
Have you tracked this at all with the euro to see if when this goes up, if the euro's going up or stronger?
You know what? I have not. I have not. It's worth having a look at, though.
Right now, the euro is starting to show some strength. That's why I'm kind of asking the question here.
Yeah, and it's probably, yeah, I think you're probably right. You know how the like the S&P is based on, if the US goes down, the S&P goes up and vice versa. I imagine this must move similarly.
yeah, I would assume so because it's based on their stock index, right?
Yeah.
Their stock performance and whatnot. So
the stronger the euro gets, the more expensive their exports are. The more expensive the exports are, but the euro, I mean, right now the euro is starting to starting to gain a little strength in the lower time frame, but not too much. It's still kind of in the middle of the pack here, so no, that's good.
Yeah, see, it's got a couple of dojis going there. So if the euro is getting a little stronger, this one might want to start coming down again. So,
but we do have a nice little. Now this isn't a arrow off the bounce; it's an arrow off the retracement of the bounce. Here's the bounce, came back, didn't develop an arrow here, but did get one right next to it. So that sort of makes me saying it looks like it's going for higher highs and higher.
yeah,
higher
you got a
lows.
bounce arrow go right there, my friend.
Well, but so you had the pullback first before you got the. You pretty much had the bounce. This should have been the arrow. Here was the pullback. So we got the arrow off the pullback, which I've never really thought that to be a big deal, but I was correct.
Yeah, it's actually not based on what I know about arrow. So as long as you don't have an arrow going down, you're fine. If you had an arrow going down at that hook back or whatever, then that's an invalid bounce.
See, that makes more sense to me because when I was doing the beta testing, I didn't know anything about where you couldn't have that first pullback. You just
Oh,
basically just looking,
interesting. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, that's I heard some comment about that, and I think, well, it wasn't a valid arrow because it didn't come right off the bounce.
Well,
I'm not
the
sure. I'm not
my
sure I agree with that one actually.
no, exactly. What's really important here, because you're looking at a time frame specific, right? Is that, and this could be wrong, but this is the way I always understood it. And but as long as you have a nice bounce, and as long as you're looking for um sorry, as long as you're looking for, hold on, my brain just failed. um oh boy, it's a Friday.
W formation, maybe?
Well, yes. I mean,
I don't know.
here's what I
I
like
lost
about
my
this.
train of thought.
Here's what I like about this. We had a strong move down. We had the bounce. We had the middle of the W. It comes back down, retests it, and so here's our anchor. Here's our first hit. Now, if it comes back down, now it broke this trend line, closed above it, and we did have a little bit of a pullback. Didn't break through the wedge to the bottom of the wedge, and now you're still going, and you still have momentum to the upside. All of our moving averages are in the right direction. This one's starting to curl on up a little bit. And as it is being a Friday, it could make a little bit of a difference, but
I'm looking for it to break to the top side, my friend.
Yeah, I'm still looking. I mean, there's room to the upside here. And I'm going to see how many, let's see, that's 61. That's about $24 worth. So that's room. So if you're going to go for, I'm going to assume you can go for $5, $10 stop possibly. So it's 37 to 27 if we're using the same parameters.
Yeah,
So much of this, go ahead, Eva.
I was going to say, when I got into this one, it was at 14,733. 35.
14.73. So you're right in between these two lines somewhere.
Yeah, and I got out at 743.
So you went for $5.
$10.
$10. Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right. I'll tell you what.
$10 move is good.
Well, and that's the trick. Unless you're swing trading with the indices, go for short little gains.
Oh, I was thinking $5 even.
And yeah, I went 10 only because you see the candle, it was moving up. So
37 to 42. We'll go 42. 37 to 42, and we're going to go with let's see, 37 to go with 30. Let's see what that looks like. I'm going to move this thing down below. I like looking at spots where rather than just going with straight dollar amounts. I like to keep things out of target ways, I guess you could say. Right now, this should be in an uptrend as long as it stays above everything here. I like to keep my stop below, at least below the last pivot low. It's starting to make it, as soon as this makes new highs, then I'd be okay. I should maybe move this down just a little bit more, just to keep it a little bit more out of harm's way. I like this pivot. Now we have a higher. Now, as soon as this high can get broken, primarily, even if you take out this red zone, then I would be able to move my stop up to the below
red zone just appeared.
This pivot. What's that?
That just appeared. That red zone.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's brand new.
So that could be a problem.
Yeah, you might want to get out while you're ahead.
We'll see.
Yeah. But right now, my stop is below this pivot here. It's below this moving average. And it's, so basically it's got to get through this pivot, which is this candle made a new high. So that's basically my hard, this is my visual stop. This is my hard stop. And my target can go up to, let's just go up to that area right there and see what happens. Keep an eye on it. If it gets profitable, we'll take it off.
So you got something for Pepper. He says the U.S. CAD is respecting that smaller trend line that you drew.
U.S. CAD.
I don't know
if I like when it respects what I draw or not. U.S. CAD. US
From the
CAD.
bottom side, I think.
No, it's yeah, basically it did it broke it, but also it came back up and couldn't hold it either. Again, that's like almost a little bit of a trap there. So with this trade right now, rather than we have another zone here. So if it breaks through this zone, it's probably going to be going down lower. So I'm okay with moving my stop on this one down up to the bottom of this zone that just got developed. Still looking for it to come to the upside. It actually looks like it made 2 up arrows and now just made a down arrow. What I still like about this one, here's where the entry was. It wasn't able to break through this wick down here. It bounced. I look at this. This is where the trap was. People were thinking, oh, it's going to break out. It's going to break out to the bottom. Nope. I don't think so. And it's still US CAD. So the dollar is, the CAD's still showing strength to the dollar. Not by a lot. It's starting to lose some ground to it, but we'll see. Still in the trades, still giving it the wiggle room.
German
So I think
30 is taking
we're
some
only
heat,
going
though.
for 20 pips on this.
What did it go down? $5.
There's 10 pips right there off of that. I mean, theoretically, we can use this as the zone, as a target zone. I don't know if it's going to get up there today or not, but we'll see. This guy cuts let's see, we're on the 15-minute charts. Yeah, so it is making higher highs. It is making higher lows. I don't want to see it break below this pivot right here. Came down into this little wedge area right here. It came down into it, couldn't hold it. Now it's back up into inside the wedge. And I'd be looking at this as a pretty much of a little bit of a flat top here. If you look over to the left where the bodies of these candles are, came back down, came back out. Here's that nice little wick right here that just penetrated up before it pulled back down again. So it's found some sellers coming in up to that area. Once it can break through here, this will be the next area where it probably be launched to. I believe that's where I had my first stop or my first target. Being a Friday, I'm not going to hang into this thing all. I'm not going to want to hang into this thing all weekend. So I'm going to pull it back here to the bodies of where, if it can break through this area, this will be the next stop, and that's at the. See what looking at. This is US CAD. 84 to the target price of 84 to 95, so that's 11 pips. Got in at a little bit better entry than where the breakout would be. And you could just put like a buy stop in, just set up a buy stop. If it comes up here and breaks out, and then go for 10 or 15 pips, or even go for the whole Monte here. Depends on how lucky you feel. But that's 25 pips to the upside right there. If it can break out of this little wedge area, if it can break out of that, and we do have like a little, here's a high, here's a higher high. So we actually have another little trend line. It's sort of developing a channel. Oops, where'd that come from? Take profit. Okay, we'll change that. Let's see, what was I gonna say? Oh, I was trying to draw a trend line. So here's a channel. There's a high. This was pretty much an equal high. This is about where we got in. I got into this trade. And as it keeps on marching through, it's going to, now this thing could potentially take this long to get to where my target is. If it breaks through that channel. If not, it could be all the way up until this point right here before we ever get my target. And that could be about 1 o'clock this afternoon. That's 2000. So minus 7 would be 1300. Yeah, it'll be about 1 o'clock this afternoon. It could take till 1 o'clock this afternoon if it maintains the same channel. It could take that long before it develops. Here's the anchor, here's a hit, here's a hit. And right now, let's see if it's just going to keep on gradually moving very slowly up into this direction. Questions? Yes, a lot of times, a lot of people just don't really want to trade on Fridays. Grab your profits during the week, and if you don't make it by Tuesday or by Thursday, then wait till the next week to see how things work out.
Alan, we can't hear you. I don't know if you've muted
Well,
yourself.
I'm just sitting here breathing.
How are you? That's good.
I don't have anything to say right now. I'm just sort of waiting
Glad
to see
to hear
what happens
that.
here. And seeing what's going to happen here. No alerts and kind of quiet here. Let's see how. Let's take a look at some of our trades are doing. British Aussie. See if that's going to give us any angst here. Uptrend did break through. Nope. What did we get? Did we just get something here?
I got an alert.
Did we get one?
I heard it. Maybe
I heard it, but I'm not sure I see anything.
Oh, it's Ethereum. It's crypto.
Oh, crypto. Okay. Now it did break through this trend line. Now now we're looking at this little pivot point right here. See if it's going to get a bounce off of that. We still have right now our stop. Where's my stop on this? I don't have a stop in here. Let me put something in here. No, we adjust it. Make this area be my target. Here's my stop. I like to keep my stop below 40 pips. Actually, that's probably a little bit lower than the 40 pips from where I got in. $40 pips to be right about to where my line is here below. I like having the moving average. I have to keep my stop below this 200 moving average when it's starting pulling back. This could be actually, this could be a nice little Fibonacci retracement on this one. Where we have, here's the move down, here's a retracement up, coming right down into the 50-60% retracement. Here is the nice candle down, pulled back up, but strong wick, came right down into the 50% range. And then you go and you move your stop. And I think I'll probably do this. I'm going to move my stop. I still want to keep it below this moving average, but we don't really have the confirmation that this is the pivot low on this pullback. I'd wait a little bit more still before I confirm that. But if we have this pivot low, it could give us actually a little bit of a fractal. Now here's a pivot low, here's where it closed. This one closed down a little bit lower. It's still kind of trending on back down, but we have the 62 right here. If it hits the 62, then I'm going to want to put my stop at, that's 52, so 47. So I want to put my stop right about in there, which is pretty much right at the top of this green zone. So if it challenges this green zone, I want to keep my stop below that. I just give a little bit more room just so I won't take myself out. I don't want the brokers to take me out. Right now, I really can't, I won't bank on this pivot because it's making new lows in here. But now we could get a double bottom right in this. We'll see what how this candle closes. Let's go to a 5-minute chart and see what it looks like on a 5-minute. So we definitely had this trend line got broken, retested, and now it's going lower. It looks like it's not done going lower yet. British Aussie. Right now it's down 23 pips. And it looks like the Canadian dollar is gaining strength across the board. And the British just lost its dominance over the market, so it's just gave it up to the Canadian dollar. And here's what I'm looking at with that. This before the British was all the way up top here. British was all the way up top here, and now it's all the way down to the bottom third, and the Canadian dollar is starting to gain strength. It's one reason why this trade is not working out so hot. Because the British just lost its strength. And this is a lot of times why you don't want to trade on Fridays. And here's that German theory that we tried and see how this one's working out.
It just made a fractal low on the 1 minute.
On the which one?
On the German 30. So I'm curious. I just got in on my demo trying to get used to demo trading this, and then I'll see if I can make something out of it. I'm starting to really love the indices.
You know what? Me too. Well, I have for some time now. I seem to be better with them. They like me better, I guess, is what it is.
Oh, okay. That's what's going on then.
Yeah. They have more pity on me than the currency players do.
Here's what I was saying too, is that we had the anchor, here's the hit, here's the break, broke down, and now it's starting to respect this trend line. which are broke. This was sort of a head, this could have been a head fake, but we're not totally sure yet because it still didn't break this pivot low. Here's our M formation. Let's see if it makes a little higher point.
You
on
did
the
put a
top here.
massive lot size there on that German 30 though.
Well, I just know that this is a demo platform right here, so
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's
You gave me a heart attack until I saw a demo.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I didn't really position size this thing properly. I'm not sure what the position size for that would be here. Let's see.
I'm using 0.01. No, 0.01 on $1,000 account right now. I'm just looking to see if I can catch the right swing.
Yeah,
That's all.
obviously with this, you can't use the same position,
That's currencies.
the lot size with the currencies, the index as you do with the currencies.
Well, switch from points to profit to
Yeah,
base currency so people can see the difference between 100 pips.
that's what we're gonna do here. So here's the difference. All right, right, yeah, right
Double.
now I'm down $440 on this thing.
Yeah.
Which is totally unacceptable in a live account.
Yeah, that's like
That's like a massive
Well,
trading error there.
huge position size for an index.
Yeah, the indexes need to be a whole lot less than that.
Yeah. I mean,
like
I was
about-
looking at with the
I mean,
0.05.
really, like this should have been like about a tenth of that. So basically, move that decimal point over, and so it'd been like a 0.03. But it basically should have been like a 0.04. Would have been more in line. That way, I'd only be down like $30 on this thing right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, $30 is not bad.
Now look, it looks like it wants to go back up.
Yeah, it's coming back up again. So it respected.
Yep.
Now we'll see what
man.
now we're going to see what happens. Is it going to break and close above the upper trend line, or is it going to bounce off the bottom trend line to go back further down?
It's $1 million question, my friend.
That's $1 million question. But here's our M. So is this an M or is this a W? Is this a W from here to here to here to go up higher? Or is this an M, which is coming from here to the left shoulder to the M? So right now, which one is it? I can't tell the difference right now. We are in an uptrend. So if we're in an uptrend, then I would say this is a W. If it's at the top of an uptrend, then we're looking at it's an M. And the question is, where are we in the curve, so to speak? I'd say right now we are in the, this could be a left shoulder of the M. Here's the move up, left shoulder. Here's the middle of the M. Comes back up, retest. What I would be inclined to perceive would be it's going to come up to maybe about like to this area in here, not make a new high, come up here to the zone, bounce off the zone, take this zone out. Right now we have a level on a level. So the question is it going to come up higher to take this out and come up here and retest this one? Or is it going to come up here, retest this bottom trend line? It broke this trend line, coming up, retesting it. I say now, if it comes back down and there's the apex of our wedge. If it breaks the top, it's going up higher. If it breaks the bottom, it's going down lower. Right now, I've got my target right up here. If it breaks out of the top, it may get me in. If it breaks out of the bottom, it's going to get me out. And we'll wait and see.
I like that it just kind of, kind of meanders along and then it has a big move, and then it calms down, and then it has a big move. You know, it's I find it very calm in comparison.
Right now, I'm just gonna start looking at this thing. Might go to the euro is getting weaker again. Euro is getting weaker, then this thing should get stronger if it goes to the same pattern as the U.S. market.
How would that wedge look, Al, if you made it, if you made the top line come down to where the red candle, the top of the red candle?
You mean more flat?
Yeah, right.
That's what
yeah,
I had.
Be more like this.
Yeah,
Yeah, I had a flat top wedge.
Kind of like this.
yeah.
Yes, sir. That's exactly the wedge I have. And then I took it at the bottom there. There's that last bottom.
Yeah,
That's where I took it because I had a fractal low.
Put it
and
over
yeah,
here.
yeah.
Where
I
that
would
big
find to
wick
do
is.
that as well. And then bring from that bottom red to the other one to its right. Yeah,
You like that?
yeah.
Sheesh. And she's gone. Check that trade out, man. Right when you take a trade on demo, right? You murder it.
Well, this was not.
Look at that. You're already in profit.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna get in profit real
Well,
fast.
actually, not quite yet, but it's getting close to there.
Oh,
But
it was
that's
when I
like-
saw it.
This candle here is wanting to make one of those bigger moves.
Mm-hmm. I
And-
saw
and
it.
that- Yeah, it's just great. It's a beautiful thing.
Well, I'm up
There it goes.
123 pips.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I took a little bit of heat on that pullback. That pullback, I think, might be a wave 2. So the original, so 1, 2, and then this might be the wave 3, which is the longest and most impulsive wave of the run in the Elliott wave.
Yeah,
So this might be at a lower time frame of 1, 2, 3.
So this
Yeah.
would be your wave 1, wave 2, and then wave 3 was going to be.
Over a little bit more. Are you on the 1
No,
or the
I'm on
5?
I'm on a 5.
Oh, okay. I'm on the 1. I was doing it all on the 1. That's why I was seeing things a little bit differently than yourself.
so you got your target, Al. That's perfect.
Well, yeah, I think I may have moved it around a little bit, but yeah, I think it's. I mean, certainly did get.
That's all right.
Getting a pullback there at the top. I'm out.
Actually, I was looking
Boom.
for. Actually, I ended up accidentally moving my target. I was looking
Oh,
for
okay.
42 is what I was looking to. I was looking for 42 is where I was looking at for the target. So that would be 42 is going to be right about there. It's not quite to where the target. While I was fitzing around with this thing, I moved my target, grabbed that target area.
Make it. It's gonna make it.
I think it will.
Yeah. And how did you do, Matt?
125 pips.
That's awesome. Are you still in it, or are you gonna take?
No,
your money?
I'm out.
Good boy.
I'm
Man,
I'm satisfied. I don't need to be holding on to an indices longer than that. I already
No.
took one pullback, so I could have been. That pullback made me some pretty good. So
And see, it's relatively quick. You know.
yeah, that's not a long trade.
No, not at all.
And
Did
I mean
anybody
it.
else take it? Did anyone take this German trade?
Yeah, because that was a bounce. You had your arrow. You had a red zone that popped up after you entered the trade,
Mm-hmm.
which is not a big deal. It's if you get an opposing. Oh, sorry. Yes, it is a big deal, actually.
Big deal, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. My bad. It's the opposing arrow that's not a big deal.
Yeah, that's not a big deal.
No, don't worry
But
about the opposing arrow.
The worst that happens, though, like as you can see with this one, the worst that did happen is that it kind of stalled it out and it's slower moving because of that zone being
Mhm.
there. But it's still, you know, Al made a good call. It still came back and
Yeah.
got him out in profit, albeit, you know, a little lower than he wanted, but still
whatever. You need to exit at the zone, right? You're not going to sit in there until the zone tries to disappear, right?
Yeah.
So
The euro was getting weaker during this move here. As this was going up, the euro was going down. So I say it's trending the same way as if it were the NASDAQ or the S&P with the strength and weakness of the dollar.
Yeah. So that's good to know. You can kind of see
okay,
what it's doing by
that's a
looking-
good observation.
Yeah.
Let's see what it looks like in 1 minute
That
here.
listen, that trade alone put 1% into their trading account,
There you
so
go.
with very low risk.
Yeah. Yep. There you go.
US CAD.
I could have probably used it a larger lot size.
Well, I know, but until you're demoing, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Well, and don't
I just
use the
wanted to
lot
figure it
size that
out.
I use just by I find that most of my trades are all within with my account size with the currencies. The 0.36 works pretty well for me for as a rule of thumb. I wasn't thinking about the change of the indexes.
Yeah, that's true.
And you got to be aware of that. Here's a British CAD. Let's see what that one's doing here. We have a down arrow. Let's see what we have for direction here. Down arrow, downtrend. Bounce arrow, downtrend. So let's see, do we have room to the downside on this one here? I like the strength to the CAD. The CAD has definitely gotten stronger. There's 16 pips. Let's move to a 5-minute chart and see what we have. It went a few pips and then it turned around a little bit. So here was the alert. It went 10 pips. And now it's retracing back.
I'm gonna demo.
So with a 10-minute, so now this we're on a 15-minute chart. We got the arrow at the same spot, pretty much. And it's not unusual for you to get the arrow and then it could retreats back to actually gives you. Oftentimes you have some time to get a better position on the trade.
Absolutely.
Once you get the alert.
Yeah.
So you don't always have to be in a hurry.
No, you don't.
And let's see where this was at. 73.05. That was where the arrow was, and actually it was at the top of that 15-minute candle. Strong move down. Now this could be a Fibonacci retracement off of this. And I kind of like this idea. We are in a downtrend. Here's the last candle to leave the crossover, the moving averages coming back up to the 50% retracement in here. If we were to take this trade, I said we want to find that confirmation. And let's move on a lower time frame here. Here's our 50% line. Here's this could be a fractal high. Let's see if we can get.
I love those fractals, my friend. I'm just holding it.
Here's a lower. Here's a little pivot high right here. There's a little pivot high, lower high, lower high.
All right, Judson. We'll catch you later, man.
And we could probably take this one short. Fibonacci retracement. British CAD. I like the strength of the CAD on that. Let's go 20 pips, and we'll adjust it. Here's 40 pips, stop, 20 pip target. Boom, there we go. It should be, our stop is way up here. We can certainly move that down a little bit closer. Here's our target. There's a green zone right here. So let's just go, since we're on a, I'm all the way down here on the 1 minute chart right now, but let's just move this thing all the way up to this area right here. Let's go back to our 5 minute chart. And our stop really could be, if that was a valid fractal area, we could be putting our stop all the way back. I'd be more apt to put the stop above this moving average, above the 62. Again, I like setting visual stops, not so much hard stops, especially when I'm below that 40 pip range. I'll keep at the 40 pip stop area, but I'll be modifying it myself to, let's say 173.23-ish. And so we're looking at the 62. It's in the between the 38 and 50. I'm going to use the 62 since I took that off the 1 minute chart. And I'm going to go 73.21, so 73.26. That'll be roughly right about there. And I'll make this one my stop. But here was the entry with the arrow. We got a little bit better entry on this pullback. Here's the entry arrow entry. This is on the 5 minute. 15 minutes should be close to the same. Actually, it was a little bit lower still. And that's what we have for that. Any other questions? How's our time doing here? Just about done. We're just about done for the morning here.
Yeah, it's getting there.
Remember, if you're going to trade the indices, it's always good, especially if you're going to trade the U.S. indices. So maybe do it mostly by during the when the U.S. market opens. Sometimes from 9 o'clock to 9:30, you can catch some good moves with the indexes or the futures. Those some of those pre-market moves that they have. I do kind of like this one. It's got this arrow is pointing. Now the moving average is pointing down, coming back. It's kind of sandwiched in between. My target's if it comes back down to retest the 200 moving average, I'll be out of this trade by then. Getting a little bit better entry. We don't have the total pullback. I see we were on a 1 minute chart when we were looking at that, so that's really narrowing it down quite a bit. This is a 5 minute. We'll see where it comes up. Right now, it's right at the 50% retracement from here to here. Back up here is 50% of this move.
Just had a gold alert.
Let's take a look at gold. Since somebody likes to look at gold. And we had a gold alert. Again, the gold's traded on the 5 minute chart. Strong move down, retracement, down arrow. Gold is basically in a downtrend. Didn't really get a bounce. Here's a bounce arrow, but it's in a downtrend. Remember, the arrows are it's if you want to be trading the arrows in the direction of the trend while we're in a downtrend. So this is probably a more valid arrow than the up arrow because we are in a downtrend. So I'll put my arrow up here. We're in the downtrend. down arrow. All the moving averages are still in line to go to the short side. And let's see here with the objects, 1723-ish. There we go. And target. Let's switch these around here. We have room to the downside. Here's the 1723. The arrow was at 1724. You only have $2 move till we get to this downside, so not enough room to take the trade. I mean, it may still keep on blowing through here, but not a fan of it.
3 more minutes until the end of our sessions for the week.
Yep. Any last minute questions?
I have nothing in the Q&A, nothing in the chat. Did anybody take any trades today? And were they wins for you?
How we do for the week? Anybody have, did everybody have a good week, mediocre week? Any thoughts on that one? How are we doing in this room to guide you through some of these trades? Trying to get a little feedback on if we're on target, what people are looking for, or if we're just confusing everybody. Oh, good.
That's great, Leslie. Just keep on
plugging away. Keep on. Biggest thing is keeping the emotions out of it. I just have a method that's pretty cut and dry about what works, what doesn't, what you're going to do, what you're not going to do. And once you decide to get into trade, know where you're going to get out and let it go. And try not to let your emotions get too much involved with your decision-making process. Train the brain to see what you want it to see, and because it will be dutiful. Train your brain to look at things the correct way and believe in that, and it will guide you. It'll serve you well. This British CAD trade, this one's starting to behave a little bit. The Canadian dollar is still relatively strong. As the dollar gets weaker and the oil prices go up, the Canadian dollar is going to get stronger.
that's just another laptop. Sorry, that was loud.
All right, folks, it's 9 o'clock, and we're done for the week. And thanks again for coming in here. Thanks for joining us on Friday. I know a lot of people decide to take Friday off. We have some real diehards here, and I appreciate every one of you. We'll be back on Monday. And until then, stay safe, stay green, and we'll see you then.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Have a great weekend.
Take care, guys.
See you Monday.
Bye.